101.5 ABC Central Coast with Yanni Johns and Smart Arts as well, and fanfare because we're just about to hang a new fishbowl feature artist, and I don't think you could get any more different than what we've got hanging at the moment. Paul Haggarth's Seascape from Terrigal. And now we're going to is it a triptych?
It is.
I don't even know what that word means, but...
3 pictures together, that's the easiest way to think about it.
Introduce us to this fine, creative young man, Yanni John.
Andy Collis is here, and he's our new fishbowl featured artist for the next couple of weeks, and he's presently completing a PhD.
That's right.
In the arts as well as painting. It's a big job you've got there, Andy.
Yeah, well, the college that I'm teaching at, they've given me a fair bit of time to concentrate on my PhD. I work at Avondale College, so I'm grateful for them to allow me to concentrate on exploring my own work, and we're hoping to offer PhD courses there, eventually do MAs at the moment, so this is really furthering my own interests, and it's hopefully reinvigorating my teaching.
And what's your thesis about?
Well, I'm looking at the survival of portraiture, really, and the human, I call it the human touch, what constitutes the artist-sitter relationship in contemporary portrait painting. So portrait painting, I suppose traditionally we expect somebody to sit in front of somebody else and have this human experience, but I guess ever since photography came in, there's been this distancing and a readdressing of a person's persona through a mediated image, and more these days, and looking into the future, we're sort of operating and having relationships across the world, running businesses, committing to marriages, and
I wonder if it's
great virtuality
done their FaceTime or Skype portrait.
Well, that's right.
You could be doing a portrait of someone in Mongolia on
right.
FaceTime, and it's pretty much free, really, because if you connect it through the internet, I don't think it costs anything, does it?
That's right, isn't it? But it's interesting to see what kind of image people from various cultures across the world, I mean, since postmodernism, we're talking about ultimate modernism they're talking about now, where we take it for granted that we can collaborate and work. That's kind of a given, and that we're sort of bringing various things from our human experience from our backgrounds, but in a sense we're still often seeing it through a mediated image, and that's quite different to having like a conversation like this one-on-one. And so the resultant image, I've done some very large canvases where I've got a day working with somebody one-on-one, and then, like in this particular picture here, the top panel was painted one-on-one with JP as a close friend. So I do have a history with him, I know him quite personally, but then I looked at his Facebook image, interestingly, the middle one, and I guess everybody these days can be caught up in
trying to see themselves.
Yeah, how they want to put themselves across. So he left, and I carried on with the painting, and I started to rely a little bit on photographs, which is second-hand imagery. And the more I looked at the photograph in the top painting there, the photograph started to take over and flatten it out, which I thought was a shame. It started becoming more alike the photograph.
Now, we got multimedia here, so what Yanni is doing is walking over to the work and showing people what we're actually talking about, so we can post this on our Facebook. It's a brave new world, isn't it, Andy?
Well, that's right. The top painting actually goes around the stretcher, so it becomes illusionistic. So a photograph in itself is a three-dimensional object when you think about it. It's flat and it's thin, but it is an object. So the side of the canvas is painted as if it's a wooden stretcher, and so that's becoming like an illusion, as traditional, objective painting has been. But the middle one is based on a Facebook image.
So that's how he likes to be portrayed.
That's how he likes to show himself to the world.
He's an action man who's up on top of the world. Like, look, I've climbed this mountain.
Yeah, that's right.
That's very clever.
But it's a very small image, isn't it? Then the thumbnails, and they're very small, poor quality, really, and it's surrounded by a barrage of writing and so on. So with
he likes Angus and Julia Stone, who were great,
that's right,
great artists.
And then it's like a sample of yourself.
Isn't it? It is, and the middle one, I've left the construction so you can sort of see the line. It's revealing that it's quite hand done. Whereas the top one is becoming more like an illusionistic painting, so there's that contradiction between, new technology.
This is your mate, JP.
JP.
So when JP goes up in the studio, if he walks past, he'll get a bit of a shock.
That's right.
We have so many portrait artists here on the Central Coast,
We do,
Yanni.
we
This
do.
work that Andy's doing is quite relevant.
So Andy, when you
Peter Smith,
Yeah,
Graham Baldwin,
Graham.
you do portraits yourself. I mean, there's heaps of very Greg Summers,
yeah,
a heap of really
That's
fine
right.
portrait artists here on the coast.
There's a group meeting.
Gavin.
So there's a group meeting on Monday nights, I think, at the Gosford Regional about,
Yeah.
painting
painting portraits.
portraits. Yeah.
So you'd have to check that one out, I think.
Okay. But there is, you wonder why people are still doing painted portraits in the 21st century when there's so many ways of sort of recording, relationships with people and seeing the face of everybody. But it's only a few years ago that we opened our own portrait gallery in Canberra, and the Archibald Prize, the Doug Moran, and so on. They seem to they're going forward in leaps and bounds. So there's still something quite special about the painted image.
But do you think there's a hunger for the authentic? Because we live in such a virtual world. It's so easy to get a photo of something that you want to see that real hands-on thing.
Yeah, I think that's quite an interesting point, Yanni, because in the old days you used to sort of think that doing a painting was not as factual, as authentic as getting a photograph of somebody, and now photography has become very manipulable and you don't know who's on the other end of the,
And Photoshop's
online.
amazing.
Photoshop's,
You can
that's
get
what
rid
the
of your
bottom panel's
wrinkles.
on about there.
You're not using much of that on me when you do these videos online. I noticed I had more chins than the Hong Kong phone book in the last one. Keep me out of
Very
shot.
self-conscious.
Keep me out of shot from
Yeah.
now on, would you? Well, I'm a radio person. I'm not meant to be
My
seen.
mum-
It's 7 to 3. Sorry, go on.
My mum says I got a good head for radio.
92.5 ABC Central Coast. Yanni Johns with us. It's always nice that we can combine the visual arts with radio. It's a rarity, but we've got this vantage point at the Fishbowl at Erin Affair with thousands of people walking by, so promoting the arts is our charter. Thank you, Yanni Johns. Thanks to Andy Collis.
Thank you.
Our new Fishbowl featured artist and another edition of Smart Arts. You'll be able to see it online in the next week or so.
Give me a couple of days.
Plenty of time, yeah.
No worries.